Good morning to everybody watching this video. Today's video is just about the idea of pop music, the case for pop music, in defense of pop music. When you ask somebody what kind of music they like to listen to, what I've heard people say more than once is something along the lines of, oh, I listen to a little bit of everything except country, something like that. And I don't have any expertise in the area of country music, so I won't really speak much on that. But what's interesting to me is that I've heard people speak the same way about pop music. So somebody will be like, oh, I don't listen to pop music, as if it's derogatory or it would be demeaning, to like something as stupid as pop music. But with something like that, the question has to be asked, what is pop music? And what's interesting is about, people who say they'll listen to anything but country music. A lot of country music is inherently pop music. Pop music is just popular music. So if any genre, like rock, R&B, jazz is popular, then it becomes pop music. What I do have expertise in is the album Nevermind by Nirvana, right? So that's like the best-selling grunge album in the world. Now, if it's the best-selling grunge album, then that makes it pretty popular. So now it's pop music, right? And then you listen to, there's an interview with John Frusciante, and he says that Nevermind is punk for the masses, right? So now it's grunge, and it's pop, and it's punk, so it's like, which is it, right? Now, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that, because genres are not mutually exclusive. However, pop music seems to get a bad rep of that it's very easy, it's manufactured, or just the idea of it comes off as being not inspired. And I will say that may very well be true. It's very easy to go for the thing that's the cash grab as opposed to the thing that's going to really ruffle some feathers. However, in defense, I will say Michael Jackson is known as the king of pop. I've never heard anybody ever say, oh, he's just a pop star, he just does silly pop music, in the same way that they would about someone like Taylor Swift. Which, Michael Jackson isn't my favorite music artist ever, but I've never heard anybody say the music that he makes is silly or stupid just because it's pop. I think it's actually pretty admirable if you can get 100 million people to like a song, right? Because people like so many different genres of music and have completely different tastes. There's more music genres than you could name on two hands, right? So to get a whole bunch of people who like different things to like one song, I think is pretty admirable. And sometimes it's inherently important, right? Like if you're making a jingle for a product that you're trying to sell, you want it to be really catchy and for everybody to like it, because that's how you get it to stick in people's minds and then they buy your product. So in a case like that, a song being poppy is what's crucial to its success and its efficiency. And I know a lot of people feel really special when they listen to music before it becomes popular, when it's more underground. And I will say there is definitely a benefit to that. There's an inherent quality to that. However, I also think there's a joy in, having a song that you like and being able to share it with somebody else, or being at a concert and, having thousands of other people saying all the same words at the same time that you are. And that is the case for pop music.